You're very welcome back to Unstable TV. So you guys sent us over some more videos to learn with. As much as we love learning ourselves in the mind, we love learning with you guys here. So this reaction is gonna be Danielle telling us what it's gonna be. No, I'm joking. Danielle's gonna tell us what's going on.
So this history video that we're checking out today is, did the USA and the USSR always hate each other? I'm gonna go with no. They probably liked each other until a point, but we'll all find out together.
So we get to find out who was being bold first and why they were in the wrong. Maybe not. But learn with us and we'll give her a review and have a talk about it at the end. Let's watch this together. Let's go.
The rivalry between the USA and USSR during the Cold War is well documented. However, communists ruled Russia for almost 30 years before the start of the Cold War. So during that time, how did they both feel about the other? Did the Soviet Union and the United States always hate each other? So throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the USA and Russian Empire had a very positive relationship. And so when the Russian Revolution overthrew the Tsar, the US wasn't too happy about it. Woodrow Wilson didn't want America's old friend to be picked apart after the war, and so he invited representatives from both sides of the ongoing Russian Civil War to attend the Paris Peace Conference. The problem with this was that the whites, those who opposed the communists, had no real authority to demand anything, whereas the Bolsheviks decried the treaty as imperialist and illegitimate, and that none of it mattered anyway because the West would soon see their own revolutions. The Russian Civil War continued until 1922. The US didn't want to get involved directly, but was concerned about Japanese ambitions in Siberia, and so it sent troops as a deterrent, which of course did not improve relations with Russia. Once the war was over and Lenin was in charge, the two nations basically ignored each other. And this was mostly because American investors had lost a lot of money after the new Soviet government nationalised all of their assets and refused to repay any of Russia's foreign debts.
Money.
Which meant that any president that recognised the Soviet government was acknowledging that Moscow would keep the money, whereas the Soviets simply despised the US's role as a capitalist power. As the decades rolled on, anger at the previous loss of money was overtaken by the desire to make new money. By the 1930s, most Western European countries had already given Moscow official recognition, and so the US decided to negotiate to see if it could do the same. In return for the United States agreeing to recognise Stalin's government as legitimate, the USSR would in return allow Americans working there to maintain their freedom of religion, increase trade with the United States, and also Stalin promised never to interfere in American domestic politics. And this deal was seen as a massive win by the US, which gave little and won a lot. And it was also seen as a major victory in Moscow because everything that they'd promised was a lie. Relations remained poor until the German invasion of the USSR in 1941, at which point the US provided material aid to the Soviets. Whilst the US government wanted Germany crushed, they were also very concerned about Soviet dominance in Europe after the war. The hope with many was that the war in the East would see Germany defeated and at such great cost to the USSR that it could no longer be a threat. But as you'll know, when the dust settled, this wasn't the case, and the already bad relations between the United States and the Soviet Union would only get worse. I hope you enjoyed this episode, with a special thanks to my patrons, James.
So, it was all about money. It was all about losing money. It wasn't even about what was going on in the two countries. It was just about the cash. Like it always is.
Are we ever shocked when it comes to money? Like they always say, if you want to know anything, follow the money. It's always the money. It's the root of all evil. It's the ball stuff.
It's true. So,
of course, a very big shout out to the original content creator. Do make sure you check them out, give them a like, subscribe, and share, and all of that good YouTube stuff. And shout out to you guys for sending this one over. We were curious at the start of why they weren't so much good friends or friendos anymore. Now we know it's money. That's what it came down to. We thought the USA and USSR were the best of pals, but apparently they're not the best of pals when it comes to their wallets. What did you think of that, Danielle?
We knew they weren't the best of pals.
What?
Well, not that bad with history. I might be, a little bit. I need to up my history game a little bit because I'm a bit shocking about my knowledge. But I did know them two weren't friends. I didn't really know why. I just assumed it was to do with the land borders and the fact what the Soviet Union was doing. I just didn't really think it was just down to money. I don't know why. It's always down to money. Regardless of whatever happens, it's always down to money. Check any war, it's money. And that's it. That's it. Disagree with me in the comments. I know you are all going to, and that's fine. I did think they had a good relationship at some stage, though. So yeah, it's nice to see how. Well, it's not nice to see, but it's good to know how their relationship changed from good to bad.
It's surprising that it wasn't about oil or land mass or Russian rockets. It was actually just down to money. For a moment there, we nearly thought they cared about the innocent people of each other's countries. No, it was just their own back pockets. I was shocked.
Wouldn't that be a turn up for the books?
Imagine the government doing that.
Government caring about their own people. I don't think so.
What next? The politicians lying to the people? Never. Doesn't happen. So, of course, guys, let us know. Did you learn something new here that you didn't know before? If you did, talk to us about it in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts. And if you didn't, tell us why. Did you know this already? Are you the knower of all information?
Are you a history god?
And let us know, who is your go-to history buff? Where do you get your history information from?
So if you like watching reaction videos with us, give us a subscribe, give us a like, give us a share.
That's been our 2 cents, and we will chop ourselves out of this.